All right, shut the door. Where's my bill? Hello? All right. We're going to meet and set a supplemental calendar. Hopefully I'll put enough on here to where we won't have to do anything else as far as meetings go. But there's 2 or 3 bills that have amendments. I'm going to ask for them first. Bill 699, on your desk you'll find an amendment. AM 281498. It's what basically is, it gives an opt-out provision to cities and counties, and it puts it off until the next election cycle. Any opposed? All right, it'll be on. Under HB 381, you have an amendment AM 292510, and it's to add that language there at the bottom, and I think that might help the bill. We have move. Anybody opposed? It's on. You should have one more. Have I got the amendment for 229? Yeah. Out there. I got. All right, under House Bill 229, you have Amendment AM 292516. This is the grandparents and others bill. They've worked Mr. Strickland's worked very hard with Mr. Weldon and Mr. Willard to get this thing right so that it won't affect my bill that I've got out there anyway from several years ago. Do I hear a motion? All right, anybody got a problem with that amendment, say aye. All right, it's on. All right, get ready. Under modified structure, 3rd page, 1043. Any opposition? Second. It's on modified structure. Modified structure, HB 1058. Any opposition? It's on modified structure 943. Any opposition? I keep hearing something. Is there somebody saying they? All right. It's on modified structure 1004. Any opposition? You know, 605 is going to have a hard enough time as it is, Weldon. I don't know. Under modified structure 1036. Do you hear a move? Any opposition? It's on. Under structured, HB 285. Any opposition? It's on. Under modified structure, HB 862. Any opposition? It's on. Under structured, HB 922. Any opposition? It's on. Under structured, HB 924. Any opposition? It's on. Under structured, HB 960. Any opposition? It's on. Under structured, HB 982. Any opposition? It's on. And I believe that 1052 is the only Ways and Means bill in that group. I know, it's the only one that's not. So HR 1052, any opposition, it's on. Under modified structure, 699, and you've got the amendment you just approved. It's on. Under $6.99. It was the one they took off the calendar and sent back to rules for us to act on the amendment, so it's back on. Same thing with 1053. It's not amendment. That was the local bill from Ms. Taylor. It'll be back on. All right. Modified open. HB 54. Any opposition? It's on. Modified open. HB 957. Any opposition? Under modified open, HB 542. Any opposition? That is the first time in my career down here that I've put 3 Democratic bills on in a row. No, I'm not. Some of you are going to find out in just a minute. Under modified open, HB 1025. Any opposition? It's on. Under modified open, HB 1037. Any opposition? It's on. Under modified structure, HB 229, and you did the amendment just a few minutes ago. Any opposition? It's on. Modified structure, HB 365. It's on. Any opposition? It don't matter. It's on anyway. That's just another Ways and Means committee. Jay's got my strings and he's pulling them. Under modified structure, HB 381 with an amendment that you approved, just Mr. Earhart.
He poked me.
There you go. They can hear you. The rest of them are awake or going to the ear doctor.
Mr. Chairman, that's just a question because the way I read it is I understood there was a substitute, but I don't have the bill.
Do it again. Ask the question again.
The amendment that's on our desk does not seem to handle the issue that many individuals had. That in the original bill, the concern was.
Wait a sec. Okay. We passed that other amendment the other day. We did do it. It had 2 amendments originally. We did one, and this will be the second amendment to that thing.
Thank you. That's what
I would urge you and suggest that you make sure that amendment does, so you can notify those of us who are sitting there can start spreading the word.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll do that.
Okay, HB under modified structure, HB 725. Any opposition? Under modified structure, HB 895. Any opposition? It's on. Weldon. I didn't say I ain't gonna do nothing for you. Under modified structure, HB 605. Anybody object besides me? It's on. Mr. Golick, we have one other bill that you were interested in making a comment about, 684.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The members of the committee, Chairman called 684 the other day. The committee voted it down. Chairman Martin worked very hard on this bill. I think there may have been some information slash misinformation going on about the bill. He's worked very hard on the bill, and I think I would respectfully ask that if the chair calls that bill now, that we give Chairman Martin the opportunity to make the case on the floor. I don't know how that's going to go, but I think given the time and the work that he's put in, if we could give him that opportunity, I think that's all he could ask. Thank you for the time.
Okay. Under modified structure, HB 684. Do I hear a move? Any objection? All right. Hand time. All those in favor, raise your hand high and keep them up till we've got the count. Okay, all those opposed? It fails. I want to be home before 12 o'clock tonight, so that's it.